Welcome to PhreakNIC. Woo! Woo! I mean, this is your first time? Anybody in here this is your first time? Oh, okay. Awesome.
We're going to get you.
Welcome. All right. Number one rule, there's a lot of drama and cons these days, not ours, ever. Never. But treat each other with respect, right? If you're easily offended, try not to be. And if you offend other people, try not to this time. That'd be great. And one of the other things, and I'll get to this in a second, you saw that they've taken away our chairs and our tables that we have normally in the mezzanine. I think that's for after hours. I'm going to go to them today and say, hey, can we at least set up some stuff during the day and we'll shut it down at night. But they said that the noise was a problem for the other guests, and so they've just removed all that. But we'll see if we can set something up out there today. In the meantime, you can hang out in the lobby. You can hang out in that room over there. We're trying to set up as many chairs, tables as we can. Power's on most of them, so if you have a laptop and you want to run something, so there you go.
So I heard they moved breakfast up to the,
Yes.
is that like a designated sit-around hangout spot, or?
That's a good question. I don't know if they'd kick you out if you went in there.
So when I were in there, tried to go back in there for coffee, they locked the front
Okay.
the door, but that may have been just while they were cleaning.
There, next year, if it happens here, we'll talk more about that. We'll definitely get the Oaklands room, and there's more chairs over there now. If we could get some and get some out, even if we just set little rings of chairs out in there. I mean, we'll figure something out. I know that a hangout place is a problem this year. Who are we? You guys, for those of you who don't know, we're the Nashville 2600. We've been around since 1997. It was in the first PhreakNIC, I think it was 97 or 98. I started, my first PhreakNIC was in 2000, or was PhreakNIC 13, and it was 2009. That was my first one. I was a volunteer at AV, and the rest is history, sort of. Actually, I have a lot to thank this community, and I really appreciate this community. I went looking for community in 2009 because all I really had were some friends from church, just hanging out with them, and then the church shut down, and we all had to go find new churches and all that kind of thing, and I was like, I need some tech friends. And so I found the Nashville Linux users group in Nashville, and I found the Nashville 2600, and some of the people that are volunteering today were the first people there, and met them, and before long I got swept up into all this, and it's been great. And now I became a security director about 7 years ago, and now I'm the CISO for a company. All of that, a lot through this community, because I mean, while I was a sysadmin from high school, I went through the whole technology stack and really got into security through you guys. There's the first guy I ever met right there, Night Carnage. Anyway, so grateful for this community. It is a great community, and it will give back what you put into it. We'll get into that in just a second. How much does this con cost? This con at this hotel costs us about $5,000. We're not for profit. All that's available if you guys are ever curious. The space is about $1,800. That's one of the reasons why we stay at this hotel. It's pretty cheap. During COVID, everything went up. We went up by about $250 here, which is actually pretty low. A lot of the other con, or the other space here in town, if we were doing it in Murfreesboro, I think is like $5,000 a day. So it's pretty ridiculous. So that's why I know people complain about the hotel. It's too small. There's not enough, but it makes sense. We're a pretty small con, and that's how we kind of roll. We have to buy insurance, obviously. The swag and the t-shirts are about $2,500. Our goal is to make enough on this con to pay for next year. So we'll see how we track with that, but if we can get $5,000 or $6,000 out of this con, then that will pay for next year, and we won't have to owe anybody anything, all that kind of thing. The schedules are online this year. I did not want to go to the trouble of printing them out. You can find them outside, taped to the either side here, or you can scan the QR code. It is not going to do anything bad. It's not a Rickroll. If you want to rate a talk, that little QR code right there on the door, you can scan it as many times as you want. It also lets you, at work we use this thing called MPS. Do you guys know what MPS is? Yeah. So you just say, on a scale of 1 to 10, would you recommend, right? It's very simple. There's not 1,000 questions. And if it's a 7 or higher, then that's a positive. If it's a 5 or 6, it doesn't count. If it's lower than that, it's a negative. And you try to find out what your NPS score is. That's how they do things in the corporate world nowadays. So we did the same thing. It's just very easy. And there's a comment. So if you want to make a comment on a talk or have any other comments, just scan that right there. And I will remind you throughout the con. Scan it and give us feedback. Other than the speaker schedule, we have somebody coming in, which is really cool, from the TN Maker Fair group. They're going to be teaching lockpicking. For those of you who have never done that or want to play with it, that's what those 2 tables are set up on the other side of this wall. So there'll be lockpicking, there'll be clear locks. I think he'll even have sets to sell. So lockpicks to sell. Words. Didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Alanka will sign your book. Alanka is here. The books, yeah, the books are $30. They're full price, and the extra, like $7 or $8 we make off of them, I'm just being honest, will go toward the con. So again, we're just trying to fill the coffers for next year. We're not going to be super strict with the schedule past 8 p.m. So if Brimstone speaks at 8 p.m. and he wants to go 45 minutes, we might just go 45 minutes. It's all good. The lightning talks will be 5 minutes long tomorrow night. And in the past few years we've done this, it's been really cool. At the end, I'll do a quick closing of PhreakNIC, and then people will just come up and we'll talk as long as we want. Sometimes it's gone to 10:30, sometimes it's gone to like 11, 12, I don't care. But people will be able to come up and give 5-minute talks, and we'll open that wall back there, and you can talk about whatever you want for 5 minutes. And I've already mentioned we're not allowed to hang out in the mezzanine, at least at night. I'll try to work on that during the day. I need to talk to the hotel management. The prices for the stuff this year, the new t-shirts are $25. Last year's t-shirts are $10. And any older t-shirts than, I say last year, sorry. This is already, pre-COVID has already messed me up. PhreakNIC 23 t-shirts are $10. That was actually 2019. This is our first year back. And then any old swag or old speaker swag. So there's some cool screwdrivers and some maybe a cup or a couple other things. That's $5 if you guys want to buy some cool speaker swag. Alanka will sign your book. She's here. She's one of our last speakers tomorrow night. And if you know any students or you are in this area or anything like that, students can get in for $5. That's something I really wanted to do this year. We've got TCAT, we've got MTSU. Anybody with a student ID, we would like to get some more younger folks. Nothing's wrong with all of us coming every year, but we want to get more younger folks in. So students are $5. And of course, the regular admission is $50, and I don't know why I put a % sign instead of $1. If you see one of these 4 people or people with a green badge, thank them. When we decided to do PhreakNIC this year,
Thank you.
yeah. When we decided to do PhreakNIC this year, there were just 3 of us. It was me, Dagmar, and Otter right there. And we're like, yes, let's do PhreakNIC. And about 3 or 4 months into it, I'm like, what have I gotten myself into? And we'll talk about more about that at closing. For next year PhreakNIC, I really want to have like 6 or 7 jobs. And even if you only volunteer for the last 2 weeks before the con to run one of those jobs, I need that to happen because I can't run all of them at once. But Not Larry showed up in a huge way this last 2 weeks getting registration ready. He's running it back there right now. If Steve was not running AV, I don't know what I would do. So it's been really important to have, so these 4 people, if you see them, thank them because they're the only really reason we're having the con this year. Otter, she's a graphics artist by day, and she did all of the artwork. She did the print, she designed the badges, she does all that stuff for a day job, so it was very helpful. I didn't have to worry about it. This is something I've been thinking about. I go to a lot of cons now, being in charge of the security program for my company. And I heard this a couple of weeks ago. Things have never moved this fast and they will never move this slow again. I don't know if that's true, but it feels true. The rate at which AI, and I know that's a buzzword now, but I've seen some pretty cool stuff with it. Dell showed off their virtual human to me a couple of days ago to do tech support. There's some really cool stuff coming out, and it's very interesting. But the people in this room will be on top of it. I mean, we will just roll with the punches, right? But I really wanted to, when I started hearing all this AI stuff, I was like, I want to have PhreakNIC again. I want to talk to technical people again and not just executives and other people. I want to get back to this group. So that was one of the reasons. But this really is, if there's a theme, this is kind of what it is in my head. Technology is moving fast, and we're adapting and trying to learn with it. Hopefully there's some lightning talks on AI this year. How to have a good con. So you are responsible for having a good con. And what I mean by that is, like I said earlier, you'll get in what you put out. If you see some folks that you haven't met, introduce yourself. Everybody here has a background in technology, just about. They're all very interesting. The things you'll remember, I love the talks, but the things you remember after PhreakNIC are usually the conversations and the stories, and hopefully we have extra long breaks for lunch and dinner so that you guys can form a little group and go out. There are 2 restaurants in this parking lot. There's one right over there, Cracker Barrel, you can walk to. There's Steak and Shake. I'm going to drive to Indian for lunch this afternoon because I promised I would get somebody with that. So there's food all around. There's all kinds of stuff within walking distance. Don't eat alone. Don't sit, unless you got to work or do a virtual conference or something, but find somebody, hang out with them. That's the cool part of PhreakNIC, is this community. Let's see, take advantage of the breaks. Yeah, if you're looking to be offended, I'm sure you'll find something that will offend you.
Yeah!
But we're not going to try to offend anybody on purpose. So that's, try to look for the good, not the bad. And I think that is it. Are there any questions? Yes.
How many of those 6 or 7 PhreakNIC jobs can be replaced with AI?
None. Yeah, that's it. That's right. I don't think any jobs are getting replaced. They're just going to get moved. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Ah, you're welcome. All right. Anything else?
I got a couple things. If you don't mind.
Oh no.
Oh God! I just wanted to say, you've brought up sort of noise
Yes.
pretty
yes.
much constantly.
Yes. I'm worried about the noise by that wall.
Yeah. So I got 2 things. Don't drink so much that you end up puking, and if you're prone to fits of puritanical wailing, take that outside.
Yeah. Those are good 2
I don't
things.
feel like dealing with noise complaints for a bit.
All right. And Steve is up next, and I don't have your bio in front
Speaking
of
of
me.
puritanical whaling,
Yeah. Steve actually signed up not Larry, went around at the end of the con, because I was complaining at the end of the last con. I'm like, I need more talks. I'm like pulling people in the last 5 minutes of the con. It's a nightmare. So not Larry went around to all these people and he said, all right, what are you talking about next year? And people actually wrote down, and we had this list, and then COVID happened and the list disappeared. But Steve kept working on his, and so this is going to be 4 years of greatness right here, right? No. So Steve's going to come up and speak next. We got a quick break, so we'll start at 10. So if you guys need to run to the restroom or anything like that, we'll go from there. Thanks, everybody. Have a great con.